Hey, this is Doug with Convology. I'm back with another video, and this time I am going to show you kind of like a behind the scenes of all the magic that happens with the latest course that I've created, Thrive Architect Ultimate Essentials. I know in the Facebook group, several of you were really interested in seeing a video where I walk through how I set everything up, what my tech stack is, how I got everything working together, and the setup that I chose to use with this particular course. So I'm doing a video that basically outlines everything. So you can see here on the screen, at least you should be, I'm trying out using my iPad here to do a little presentation. You should see basically the map of my entire tech stack. It mostly fits all within the screen here. This is basically the tech stack that I'm using for this course. And let's walk through it together a little bit. So first off, how it works is there's a landing page right here. The landing page is essentially Thrive Architect, and the checkout is ThriveCart. So let's go ahead and jump over there real quick and take a look at what that landing page looks like. So this is the landing page. It is, like I mentioned, all Thrive Architect, and I've gone with kind of like a medium-sized sales page. It's not really long form, but it's definitely not short form. My goal was just transparency. And the checkout right down here at the bottom, the checkout is ThriveCart. Now, ThriveCart, if you're not familiar, it is a cart software as a service. It basically is like on a lifetime deal right now. I'm not an affiliate, so I won't get a cut for this, but I think I've got a link at convology.com/ThriveCart just so you can get there. But really it's a one-time payment, and it's a super, super effective cart because it has so many integrations and it's so easy to use, and it's embeddable or it's hosted. You can do pop-ups with it. It's just really, really good. I highly recommend it. And you'll see why it is kind of integral to my entire setup with Thrive Apprentice and delivering my courses. So let's go ahead and jump back real quick to the map here. And I want to point out a couple of things. When somebody submits their payment on the course, they are linked down to the thank you page. And let's take a look at what that looks like here. So immediately upon purchase, they are taken to the thank you page. Now on this thank you page, I've done a couple of things. I've told them to check their email because they're going to be sent access to the course. And this is essentially being driven by, if they're a first-time customer, this is Thrive Apprentice and ThriveCart. ThriveCart is essentially telling Thrive Apprentice, hey, somebody bought something and they need to be given access to the website. So it's going to send them an email predetermined by Thrive Apprentice, which I'll show you, with those details. Next, I'm telling them, hey, go visit the course page. Here's a link to it and get started with it. And the third thing is I'm doing an upsell, or at least a promotion of my membership and community for people that kind of just want to elevate their game. They got the course, but now maybe they want to upgrade to Convology Pro, which is basically access to all of the courses and the private community and private live streams, things like that. So this is a sales page that basically takes them over to Convology Pro, tells them about it, and then gives them the opportunity to check out, and again, built entirely with ThriveCart as well. So jumping back over here, let's take a look really quick at this map and see, okay, so they're on the thank you page, and let's talk about where they go next. So I just talked about how we link them over to the courses page, and I also told them to check their email. So I think now's a pretty good time to look at Thrive Apprentice and to see the settings that I've done in Thrive Apprentice that are basically powering these courses here. And again, this is for Thrive Architect Ultimate Essentials. The other two are coming soon. Let's jump into the back end and take a look at this. Now, before I log in, I wanted to show you the dashboard login page that I created. I can use this both for myself and I can use it for the students. So I log in through this just like the students do, or the members of Convology Pro do. Basically, this is also built entirely with Thrive Architect. It's also built using some really cool CSS tricks that are technically hiding the member dashboard. And once the person logs in, it actually hides this whole section and instead shows the dashboard, which is really, really cool. And if you're interested in that, I did do a tutorial. It's using the exact same principle as my YouTube video, which I'll link somewhere up in one of these corners, about how to hide things if you're not logged in. So look for that, and that shows you how to do it. So let's go ahead and get logged in and jump over to the Thrive Apprentice dashboard. All right, so here we are in my Thrive Apprentice dashboard. Haven't launched the course yet, so I'm kind of getting everything ready to go here. But let's take a look at some of the things behind the scenes. And also to point out, this is actually the brand new Thrive Apprentice interface. They just did a major update here. Quite a few things have changed. First, the entire interface looks different, but the underlying mechanics of it are all the same. They've just taken that top section in the top right-hand corner and they've moved it here to this like inset sidebar on the left, and they've added yet another sidebar. So if you're familiar with Thrive Theme Builder, it's the same multi-layered menu system that they use in Theme Builder. So what we can do here is we can check out our courses, and then we can choose our course topics and our course labels. I've kind of played around with a few options there. We can change the course design, which is essentially exactly what, I'll just click on it. It's essentially exactly what we had before, but they've just cleaned it up. So they've taken the main logo section, logo, and then font choices. It's just been simplified, but it's still all the same data. And then under advanced settings, they've given us the option to, again, just go in and make some minute changes to the course structure, size of fonts, things like that. But this is mine, basically how I've chosen to do mine. And then let's jump in and look at that email that I was telling you that ThriveCart told Thrive Apprentice to send out. Okay, so here we are in the settings section, and to look at those emails, they've moved them under settings, email, templates. So I'm going to click on that. New account created is actually the name of the template. And what I've done is I've just minimally customized this. This is almost the entirety of their default email. Mine just says, hey there, your account was created. Here's your details. It's going to take the username. It's going to take the email from ThriveCart, and it's going to give them a password, right? It's just going to say, here is your password. And then I've told them, if you want to access your courses, click here to log in. This is default. Thrive Apprentice took care of this for me. I didn't have to figure out what this was. It puts a little button in the email. They click on it, and they're taken right to my login page, which is actually the home page that I just showed you. And that's it. They just log in. They access their stuff. One thing to point out down below, you do have the ability to add shortcodes right here. The shortcodes are, let's see if I can select those. First name, username, password, login button, login link, site name. Really, really simple stuff. I actually didn't use it at all. And then the last option here under email triggers, just make sure ThriveCart's checked if you're doing what I'm doing and using ThriveCart. Basically tells ThriveCart or Thrive Apprentice, hey, check ThriveCart via the API keys here on the left. Make sure all of that works. So really, there was not a lot to do here. This was super, super simple and straightforward. And then under login and registration, all I had to do was tell Thrive Apprentice where I want people to log in at, and I want them to log in from my page that I called dashboard. So I'm not going to go into too much more detail on how to use Apprentice. I am going to launch a full course, Thrive Apprentice Ultimate Essentials, to give you a full look at how this whole thing works, and we'll build a course together from the ground up. But that's all you need. Like, just in terms of how I did my tech stack, that's everything I did on Thrive Apprentice other than putting the course together itself. So again, super simple. So if I jump back to my little map here, that's Thrive Apprentice, right? We've already taken care of how ThriveCart talks to Thrive Apprentice. We've already taken care of how people get from the thank you page to here. They actually, right from the dashboard, can then access this via a link. So super easy stuff. Now let's jump over. I did want to show you that dashboard once I was logged in. I know several of you have wondered how to do that. So let's jump back over there. So basically, this is the exact same page. This is just members.convology.com. I logged in and boom, this all appeared. And what I've done here is I've given people who are logged in the ability to go and visit my courses and workshops. I've told people, hey, if you're a Convology Pro member, I have an entire library of assets for you. And I've told people, hey, if you want to join Convology Pro, I also have a very private community just for people that join. And since we haven't launched yet, I do want to show you a couple of these things and kind of how I've set them up and how I've protected them. So when somebody's logged in on the dashboard here, and let's say they were a Convology Pro member, or not, right? And they click on View Asset Library. If they're a pro member, I'll go ahead and click on that. If they're a pro member, the template library is going to load, and I haven't finished this yet. I've got a couple more elements that I'm going to upload here, and always adding new templates for pro members. But essentially, they get access to this page. Now, if they weren't a pro member, they would have been shown a page that says, oh, hey, you're not a pro member. You need to join pro in order to get access to that. In fact, why don't I show you what that looks like real quick? So I'm going to log out and jump back in. Okay, let's see what happens now on my demo account when I try to access this pro-only content. You can see that it takes me to a landing page so that I can get access to Pro, I can join Pro, and once I'm a Pro member, I'll be able to log in and access that. That's pretty cool. And then let's jump back and see what happens if I try to go to the community and I'm not yet a pro member. You can see there, I also need to log in and verify that I am a pro member so that I can get access to the community. That's actually built on the Circle.so platform. And I'll also give you a look at that here in this video as well. So let's go ahead and go back to the dashboard and take a look at the navigation, because as we log out of this demo account, I want to show you one of the features that I'm using, and that's the brand new to Thrive Apprentice as of like early November, the login logout menu, so that you no longer need a plugin. You can just use the default Thrive Apprentice login logout. That's right here, and I'll go over all those details probably in a course, but suffice it to say, find it in your menu section. And then I've been logged out and I'm back on the normal login page. So that's pretty cool. It's super easy to use. And that's basically the log out, login function. And you can see it change to login in the upper right hand corner, and we're good to go and user can log in. So let's get logged back into my admin account, and I will show you a couple things on the back end that make those pages protectable. So let's take a look at this real quick. On the map here, one thing I want to point out is that WishList member is the membership plugin that I'm using in order to protect the asset library and all the pro member features on the back end. A couple things worth noting on my Thrive Apprentice courses. You'll notice that I have put the little orange circles here to indicate that WishList member is protecting those, because when somebody gets added to the Convology Pro membership, they're getting access to all of those courses. Now, if they were to buy it on ThriveCart, ThriveCart's giving access to one course at a time. ThriveCart does not currently have the ability to give access to all courses in a bundle, so I'm having to use WishList member to do that, and at the restrict content level, basically saying, hey, give access to each of these courses. It actually doesn't work bad at all. It's actually kind of nice, and I would still need WishList member in order to protect my asset library and any pages that I want to make for Convology Pro members. So WishList member is an awesome membership plugin. I would use it anyway, but it's just a little weird that I'm having to use it and ThriveCart to protect courses for people that are pro members. But it works perfectly fine. It ends up working great. So now what I want to do is I want to address, first off, let's go ahead and look at the community aspect of this, and then we'll go ahead and look at how I'm connecting all these things together. All right, so we've logged into the community, and I want to point out that I am using Circle.so. I guess I should bring that up on the screen here. All right, here it is. So we've got Circle.so. It's a brand new creator platform that has a 14-day free trial, kind of like all features in, and full transparency. That's actually what I'm using because I haven't even launched this thing yet. I'm still building it. So I'm not paying them a dime yet as I get everything all set up and I test it. But what I really love about this is that it's super clean, super modern looking. It mimics almost all of the functionality from Facebook, but it's not Facebook. Now, I have several free communities on Facebook that I manage, and it's great for that low friction, get people into the platform they're already using. But if you want to charge access for something and you want it fully automated, how people get access, how people use it, then you really need to go something like Circle.so. We'll call it Circle. Something like Circle, or something like Mighty Networks. There's a couple others out there that I'm sure are great, but this is the one that I've landed on. It just works really, really well, and it has a lot of great features. So let's actually jump back to the community now that I've shown you the name of the platform, and take a look at some of these features. So first off, what I've done is anytime somebody buys one of my courses, I've got a section or a space group, they call it, called Convology Courses. and I've got a space in the space group for each of those courses. So if you buy the Thrive Architect course, you'll get access to the Thrive Architect space. And in here, I'm posting updates to courses. I've actually updated my course before even launching the course. It's just something I practiced posting in there to see if essentially how it would work, how I would notify students that I've updated it. But that works really, really cool. I can post updates. We can nest threads. We can do all kinds of cool stuff. And then I have different spaces for each of those courses. And if somebody were let's say a student of my Thrive Architect Ultimate Essentials course, they would not be able to access the Thrive Apprentice Ultimate Essentials space. It would tell them, hey, you got to go buy that, and give them a link. Super awesome. And the same thing goes for Convology Pro. Members of Convology Pro will be given access to all spaces under the Convology Pro space group. And spaces is just what Circle calls them. But really, it's kind of nice. It's going to be a great place for students to ask questions, members to be able to support each other, particularly on the Convology Pro side, where there's live office hours and events going on regularly. And even in the course spaces themselves, I'm going to do office hours and Q&A sessions for students as well. So just a great place to just house everything. But this does raise one question. How do I get this entire platform connected to ThriveCart? Does it happen with Thrive Apprentice? How does all that work? And the answer is, let's go back to the map here. The answer is actually Zapier right here. Zapier, when someone purchases the course on ThriveCart, they are then sent into Zapier. Zapier says, all right, someone's just purchased a course. What do you want to have happen? And I've told it two things. The first one that we're going to go over right now is I want them to be added into the community. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Oh man, Zapier, really? I don't want to pay for another tool. I'm just using the free account. This right here, I haven't spent a single dollar on Zapier. And honestly, I think I have like 100, I don't know, depending on when you created your Zapier account, hopefully you created it a long time ago, they grandfather you into the plans. Like I have to use 1,000, I don't know what they call them, zaps a month, or maybe it's 100 zaps a month in order for me to start having to pay Zapier any money. And think about it this way, right? If I'm charging $99 for a course, that's almost $1,000. Sure, I'll pay Zapier $15 or whatever the cost is, just to go up one tier. But that right there is what just seamlessly integrates with community, with my community and with Circle, so that people automatically get an invite. They automatically join the community seamlessly, automated, right after buying a course. And I don't have to do anything, which is exactly what I want out of this automation. Now, Zapier also does another thing for me, which is where we're going to go next. Zapier is also handling my, unfortunately, getting people into my email service provider at the moment. And that's because I've made a really big change. I've moved my entire email list from ConvertKit over to, I'm going to scroll my map here, over to Fluent CRM. Now, Fluent CRM is awesome. It basically puts everything for your email service provider in your WordPress site, and it's like super cheap by comparison. Basically, I'm going to save over the long run thousands of dollars by using Fluent CRM. But it does raise one problem, and that's right now there's no direct integration from ThriveCart to Fluent CRM. There's no direct integration from Apprentice into Fluent CRM. So I'm left having to have this middleman right here of Zapier. And like I mentioned, for 100 zaps a month, I'm going to be making some good money before I need to start paying, and so I'm okay with that. So let's take a look at first how I'm getting people from Zapier into Fluent CRM, and I'm doing that with a tool called Uncanny Automator. I've written about this before on Convology.com. I've even made videos about it. Uncanny Automator is just a really cool tool that helps automate some processes. So let's jump in back to the WordPress dashboard and take a look at Uncanny Automator. Okay, so here is the back end of my site, and this is Uncanny Automator. Not a whole lot to look at, but basically you create recipes. And I'm going to show you my recipe in Uncanny Automator for how I got everything here to work. So here's how this works. Basically, ThriveCart is going to send a notification to Zapier. If we jump back real quick, I want to point out that that is what this is right here. That's that connection. Jumping back over, so now that Zapier has received this, it's called a webhook. It's basically, I don't know a whole lot about these things. It's basically a URL that it sends data to, and the data is like listening to receive variables and things. I don't know, I think it's an API thing. But basically, I send data via a webhook to Zapier from ThriveCart. Zapier, based off of what I've told it in my account, will say, okay, I'm going to take all this data and I'm going to send it to your WordPress website. Well, that's Uncanny Automator. Again, jumping back here, Zapier is going to say, okay, you just sent it from ThriveCart to Zapier, and now I need to, via webhook, send that data over to Fluent CRM. So that's what's happening here on this action. This action is saying, all right, first off, does this user already exist in your email list, et cetera, et cetera? Does its thing, it sends it over and it tags people. So in my particular setup, jumping back over here, in my particular setup, I have it tagging people in Fluent CRM as having purchased my Thrive Architect Ultimate Essentials course, and I've had it add them to a segment called courses so that I can email anybody and everybody who's purchased a course because they're put into this group. Think of it like a group or a segment, things like that. So by connecting this, now I'm able to go into Fluent CRM and I'm able to handle all of my email marketing from this actual site right there on the left. There it is, Fluent CRM. I'm able to handle all of my email marketing from the exact same site. It's all in one place. I don't have to pay a monthly fee to ConvertKit or Drip or ActiveCampaign. That's a huge, huge savings. So super awesome plugin. I do have videos coming out on that as well. So that is my tech stack for my courses. That's the new tech stack that I've put together. It's not perfect. I'll be honest. This step right here, Zapier, that step bothers me. I wish there were a direct integration from Thrive themes via webhooks and APIs, and maybe there will be someday. And I do wish there were some way to get all of my data from ThriveCart into Circle. And if I were to venture a guess, I think there will be one day. This Circle is getting big enough that I think ThriveCart will take notice and make that integration. But in the meantime, yeah, you know, although this component right here of my automation is not perfect, it still works. And right now it's costing me nothing to use Zapier and it's connecting it all together. So in the meantime, it works. Everything is functioning properly. I'm about to launch my course. And as a tech stack goes, relatively inexpensive. Right now, the only monthly fee on this entire tech stack is Circle. And based off of their pricing, it's fairly reasonable. I think basically by the time you start having people sign up in your courses and your memberships getting added into your community, it pays for itself. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, this little insight into how I have essentially set up my tech stack and my courses. If you have any questions, please, you know me, feel free to ask away. I'm going to do a little write-up on Convology.com after this video goes up onto YouTube. Feel free to leave a question there or in the YouTube comments, or also on the Thrive Mastermind free Facebook group. You're welcome to join that as well. You are the ones that requested this, so this is for you. So that'll do it for me, guys. Again, Doug at Convology. I love putting together automations and building courses and having a great time doing it. So I hope that I'll see you around and see you in the next video.